Welcome back to the Deep Dive. If you're here for, the real shortcut to being well-informed, you are absolutely in the right place.
I think so.
Today, we're tackling a really unique set of sources. It's this guide that isn't just teaching Polish vocabulary, but is actively teaching the language of, political power.
Exactly. We spent a lot of time synthesizing this material from a really insightful source, Polish for Power in Politics. And it's unusual, it doesn't just give you words.
Wow.
It gives you the cultural commentary that's sort of embedded within them. So our mission today is a deep extraction. We're identifying 5 core vocabulary terms and, crucially, understanding the political atmosphere and, honestly, the cultural humor attached to each one.
Right, so we're giving you the linguistic keys to really get a handle on Polish power dynamics. And the sources, they warn us right up front that the context we're stepping into it's intense.
Oh, yeah.
In Poland, discussing politics, it's not some light chat over coffee. It's described as more of
a kind of war. Yeah, that's the word they use. It's high stakes. But don't worry, we are just gathering the essential linguistic arsenal to understand the conflict.
Okay, good.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll not only know the words, but you'll know how those words feel to a native speaker. And we should probably begin at, the very top.
Okay, let's do it. Let's unpack this political snapshot.
Yeah.
So our first key term is the leader of the state. If you want to talk about the president in Polish, you say president.
President. And what's immediately clear from how the source material frames this is just the sheer weight it carries. When you hear president, it's not a celebratory term. It sounds heavy. The text suggests it evokes an image of someone with too many bodyguards and not enough sleep.
That detail is just gold, isn't it?
It's perfect.
It's not just a translation of a title. It's a cultural filter. The word itself signals this sense of exhaustion, of seriousness, and maybe even a little bit of distance from the everyday person.
Yeah, it's a whole job description in a single noun.
It really is.
And it sets the tone for authority in the country. Now, let's move from that individual figure to the abstract concept they represent. I mean, the core currency of politics, power itself.
Okay.
The Polish word for political power or authority is Władza.
And this word is highlighted as being particularly important, right? Both in how it sounds and what it means.
Oh, absolutely. It demands respect, or at least your full attention when you say it. The source material actually tells you to really elongate that first syllable.
How so?
Like this, Władza. It says that when you say it right, it sounds like a dragon from a movie.
A dragon from a movie.
Yeah, like beware the mighty Władza. It's not subtle power, it's big, almost mythic.
I can almost hear it now. Yeah, like a decree being handed down from a mountaintop. So Władza is formidable. If we want to start, applying this, how do we build a simple sentence? How do we say someone has this dragon-level power?
The basic structure is actually pretty straightforward. If you want to say he has power, the phrase is on ma Władza.
On ma Władza.
Just 3 words, but they carry enormous political weight. Władza really is the central pillar of political conversation.
Okay, now this is where the sources really get interesting. They step away from the textbook and into real life. We've established that Władza is this huge political concept. But does it stay confined to, parliament walls?
No, absolutely not. And that's the genius of language, right? This kind of vocabulary, it just leaks into the most common household situations.
Right.
So the authors immediately pivot and ask us to think about a much more relatable struggle, the fight for the TV remote control.
Yes, the universal struggle.
Exactly, the battle for channel surfing dominance. And they show you how perfectly you can use this grand political term to describe who runs the family entertainment.
And so what's the phrase?
If your partner controls the remote, you can just say, Ona ma Władza, she has power.
I love that.
And the guide notes, with a bit of a wink, that this is very true for most Polish households.
That juxtaposition is fantastic. So you're applying a term that sounds like a roar from some cinematic monster to, the simple, petty domestic tyrant holding the Netflix password hostage.
Yes.
It instantly makes the word memorable and shows that political vocabulary, no matter how serious, can cross these cultural boundaries.
And that happens in every language. We borrow powerful words for mundane fights, but here, using Władza elevates the remote control conflict to this almost heroic scale. It's a brilliant teaching moment.
Okay, so we've got the president, and the concept of power, Władza. Let's move to the institution that's supposed to wield that power every day. How do we say government?
That would be Razed. But as we move from that sort of mythological dragon power to the practical government, we hit a bit of a linguistic stumbling block.
The sound, right? That opening sound.
That challenging opening sound, yeah. Give us the insider tip on how to handle the beginning of res.
So it starts with the Polish letter I. It's a bit like the Z sound you get in the English word measure, but the sources say you need to tackle it with more commitment.
More commitment.
Yeah. They humorously describe the sound of razud as a sneeze with confidence.
A sneeze with confidence. I will never forget that. Okay, so the institution. So let's connect the institution to the power we just discussed.
We can connect them directly. The phrase is razud ma władza. The government has power.
Razud ma władza. Now, that sounds like a simple statement of fact, but given the political war we mentioned at the start, does the source material suggest this phrase is, positive or neutral?
It does not. Not at all. The authors immediately inject a heavy dose of skepticism.
Okay.
They say this phrase, razud ma władza, sounds exactly like something government officials would say right before raising taxes.
So there's cynicism baked right into the usage.
Completely. So the word for president feels weary. The power is this mighty dragon, and the government having that power is basically tied to fiscal pain. It paints a very distinct picture of power.
It shows you how critical it is to know that implied context. You can't get the political discussion if you only know the literal translation. It seems the Polish political landscape, at least from this guide, is built on a real foundation of skepticism toward authority.
Which brings us, thankfully, to the people. Mm-hmm. In a democracy, ideally, the ultimate power rests with the citizens. So, what is the word for people?
The word for people is Ludzi. And this, of course, brings us to the most powerful democratic slogan we have.
Which is?
Ludzi mają władzę. The people have power.
That's the phrase, isn't it? It encapsulates the whole democratic promise. But given the cynicism we just talked about, I have a feeling the source doesn't just let that noble phrase stand on its own.
You would be absolutely correct. This is where the guide really becomes more of a political compass than just a phrase book.
Right.
Immediately after giving you that aspirational phrase, the authors pose the essential, critical question. Do people really have power in Poland?
And that tension is everything. That's the real deep dive insight here. Learning Ludzi mają władzę isn't just learning 4 words, it's learning the inherent tension and the debate around that very concept.
Exactly. It reminds you that just because the language for something exists doesn't mean consensus on it exists.
So now you have the full context. The leaders are weary, the power's a dragon, the government is tax-focused, and the power of the people is, well, it's perpetually up for debate.
That's the landscape.
We've covered the players, the concept, the tension. Now let's look at the action that defines the democratic process and gives the Ludzi their voice. What's the key phrase for I vote?
That phrase is głosujcie, and it's pronounced głosuje.
Głosujcie, a word you hear all the time in any real political conversation, linking the Ludzi right back into the system of władza.
And to give you a really tangible way to use it, the source provides a fun, specific example to practice with. Głosujcie na Ani, which means I vote for Ania. It's specific, it's friendly, and it serves as a perfect final piece of vocabulary for an active political discussion. It provides that immediate individual link to the collective power of the Ludzi.
And since we started this deep dive talking about power, and we discussed how Władza leaks into daily life,
yes,
the sources end with a great sort of self-referential example of immediate, tangible power, don't they?
They do. They note one of the hosts saying, Tunde ma władzę nad mikrofonem.
Tunde has power over the microphone, the ultimate metaphor for controlling the narrative.
It closes the loop perfectly. It shows that whether it's parliamentary power, the power of the people, or the immediate power to control the volume, władza is the word.
Okay, let's weave this all together one last time. We've pulled out 5 key terms and their context. So tell the listener how these 5 words really form a complete snapshot of this political landscape.
Okay, so we started with the individual, right? The weary and heavily guarded president. His position is defined by that abstract, formidable power, władza.
The dragon.
The dragon. That power is exercised by the institution, the tax-hiking razud. Yet the whole system is built on the belief that the Ludzi, the people, should hold the ultimate władza, a belief that's often stated but critically questioned.
And finally, the action.
And finally, the mechanism they use to assert their power is suji, voting.
That's such a powerful narrative in just 5 words and their contexts. What this all means for you, the listener, is that you're now not just fluent in the literal translation, but you're sensitive to the cultural nuance.
Absolutely. By mastering these terms and their critical and often funny backstories, bodyguards, the dragon, the sneeze, the tax hike, you can confidently step into any discussion.
Right.
You can stand in the middle of that political war, just state Władza, and then, according to the sources, you can walk away like a boss.
Because you've done the deep dive, now you have the Władza.
You have the Władza.
A perfect demonstration. Well, thank you for joining us as we broke down this unique stack of sources on language and political structure.
Thank you. And, to build on that fascinating idea of Władza being used outside of formal politics, whether it's the remote control or the microphone, I want to leave you with one final thought to explore on your own. Considering everything we've learned about the skepticism around authority, who truly holds the Władza in the non-political spaces in your life? And what words do you use in your language to describe power when you're not talking about presidents or taxes?
That's a great question to mull over. Continue exploring the powerful dynamics of language and political structure, and we'll be here next time to break down the next stack of sources you send our way. We'll see you then.